Just discovered a 3-year affair of my husband. Cannot handle the pain and having suicidal thoughts. Need advice. I, 40 female, have been with my husband, 38 male, for 20 years, married for 18. We have 2 kids together, 19 female, 17 male. I have gone through my worst phases of life with my husband, and he has always been a rock support for me. Our marriage had rough patches as well. I got pregnant at young age, so I had never experienced life of teenagers. Early in our marriage, I cheated twice on my husband. One of the affair was with my ex for about a year and a half, Pa and E. And another was EA's with a random guy online also for about a year. We married at young age, so I made some really terrible choice, which I regret to this day. He forgave me for the affair, but made me sign agreement for distribution of assets in case of divorce in future. I agreed and understood why he had to do that. We started fresh and had awesome marriage. He encouraged me to become sober and clean from drugs. At the time I cheated, I used to take drugs. He got promotion and we bought our house. He planned vacations and encouraged me to pursue my hobbies. He helped with chores and was great dad to our children. About 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with uterine cancer. When doctor informed us about the cancer, he literally broke down and started crying. At that moment, I realized how much he loves me. I had to undergo surgery for removal of uterus. After successful surgery, he took care of me like I was a child. He made me breakfasts, ordered lunch and cooked dinner. For 6 months, he did not let me do any household work or any other work. He even made food for children on his own. These are the moments that I look back and imagine that I could not have survived without him. He is my soulmate and I cannot imagine my life without him. Last night, while he was sleeping, I unlocked his phone and opened his Facebook for some of his photos as I was planning on to surprise him with big collage of his life journey on his birthday. I saw 2 Facebook accounts on it. One was his regular one but the other was with a different name. I opened the other account and found that messages that were sent to his former coworker. They were sexting. I didn't read them but screenshotted entire thing and sent it to my phone, deleted screenshots from his phone, and left his phone on his side. I was not able to sleep and was crying all night. In morning, my eyes were noticeably swollen. He asked me about my health to which I replied I was fine. He gave me a kiss on forehead and left for work. As soon as our younger son left for school, I opened the screenshots and read their entire conversation. Messages were dated back 6 months ago. As I scrolled up, they discussed about their sex fantasies, things they'll do to each other and nudes. It made me sick to my stomach. As I scrolled more, I saw the message, "Happy 3-year anniversary." I don't know why but after reading that I literally had a panic attack. I was just laying on the floor, crying. He told her about my past infidelity and how he still has nightmares and flashbacks in mind but with her, he feels free from those thoughts and enjoys every second of it. He even said that how he is tolerating every moment he has with me for past 18 years. Being intimate with me is just physical satisfaction he has to do for me, but with her, it is deep emotional chemistry. How he stayed in marriage because of children and will leave me as soon as both our kids start going to college. They even had planned their wedding. It feels like in one day my life is destroyed. I thought we were a happy family. I had everything in life, but in one day my world is shattered. I wanted to grow old with him, but now it feels lonely. It seems like my life was delusion. I can feel my body become lifeless. Like my soul is being murdered. I thought that he would have forgotten the past mistake I made 14 years ago, but he was just bearing my mistake for so many years. I know that he is my soulmate and I cannot live without him. I don't know what to do. I have suicidal thoughts by the idea of him leaving me. It's been 5 hours since I read the messages. I just want to die so that I have the privilege of dying with him as my husband rather than alone. Should I tell him how I feel and what are my thoughts? These past years I have no idea of how much he suffered from the trauma of my betrayal. I know it would be selfish of me to guilt-trip him, but my soul is tied to him. If he leaves me, I would rather die than living alone or with someone else. I am confused and don't know what to do next. Any advice to save our relationship? Story 2. Great marriage until my wife dies. Realized infidelity after she died. Swept it under the rug for the kid's sake. Now it's back to haunt me. My so, an extrovert, and I, an introvert, started dating in our mid-20s. We both had our fill of one-night stands and cheating partners. 3 years later we were married. We were best friends that had a lot of fun and couldn't keep our hands off each other. DNA left in 4 countries and half the states. On my so's 34th birthday, I gave her a ring box with a note asking if she would quit her birth control so we could have a baby together. She jumped into my arms and kissed me until I lost my balance and fell to the floor. The happiest I'd ever seen her. She took me into the bedroom, past the bed, into the bathroom where we flushed her remaining pills. Over the next 5 years, we lost 3 pregnancies. This hurt us both deeply. We talked and decided to adopt. The process is long, but in our early 40s we watched our daughter, M, be born. The sparkle was back in her eye. The next 8 years were wonderful. My so was the kindest, most empathetic mother I'd ever seen. All of our friends told me how lucky I was. At 50, my so asked me to get a vasectomy to lessen the chance of another unwanted pregnancy. I had a bad case of the flu the week of my snip and I had to cancel. My so got the same flu from me the next week. She wouldn't let me take her to the hospital, but I finally took her to the emergency room where she had a stroke that lapsed into a coma. 6 horrible days later, she passed away. Both M and myself were devastated. It took almost a year before she would sleep in her own bed. She said she was afraid I'd leave too. Soon I received 2 credit card statements in her name. We always had common finances. The balance for both cards was just shy of $14,000, mostly in cash advances. I sent for all of the back statements. This got me thinking about the last year. Sex life went from normal, down to once every week or 2, to me giving and not getting head, but no penetration. She also had a few new foreplay tricks she'd never used before. We also went from talking over everything at dinner to barely talking by the end of the year. Then to the point she would avoid talking to me at all. All we had was a landline with 2 phones. She would get mysterious late calls and the caller ID register was always cleared, completely not normal. She went from a girls' night every week or 2 to girls' night twice a week by the end of the year. Her dress for girls' night also went from jeans and a sweater to being dolled up by the end of the year. She would even get her hair done sometimes. Then I got total confirmation of her affair in the mail again. I was blissfully ignorant and enjoyed the one-on-one time with M, playtime, bath time, chasing her until she would go to bed, then story time, and kiss her on the forehead goodnight. After a couple years of grieving and obsessing, my company offered me a job far away and I jumped at it. I pretty much just swept everything under the rug and we left. Fast forward 10 years and I start having these very vivid dreams that I remembered for days. My so would be dressed beautifully, dancing and kissing her AP. They would go to their room, strip in front of me, and throw their clothes on me like I was a then screw in front of me and laugh at my misery. I finally went to an IC who told me that I never got closure on my so's affair. I, 64, just retired and male, 22, wants to move back to our hometown. I am hesitant because I still don't know who the AP is and I don't want to be nice to the that screwed my wife. I would be surprised if AP was outside our circle of friends. I also don't want M looking up to someone who screwed her mother. Should I ask so's best friend who AP is? She would know. Should I dig all this back up? I'm obsessing again. I thought all of this was behind me. Please let me know.